Welcome everybody to September the 3rd, Sunday, another day in God's brilliant universe. In the year 2022, my Christianness, Christian love, my people doing good things. Think of this, the Reverend James Slater and his wife, Mrs. James Slater, Krista, over 70 years old, came down the bicycle trail, the trail that goes from Hudson up to I thought it went to Troy. But it doesn't. Anyway, it's been converted to a bicycle path. And here these people, after they retired in the year 2017, and Glendora has never seen them since. And out of the blue, we get a call in the morning that they would like to come and see us on the bicycle path at 3:30 yesterday afternoon, that same afternoon, and lo, they came. And they got here at 3:30. No, they got here at 4 and they left around 5. And we did a very good job of mentioning and loving the people that we knew together and of recalling the great deeds that we did together and of his ministry at St. Luke's Lutheran Church in Valatia. And they had been there 31 years. They lived in the pasturage, the church house that was provided by the church, and served the community brilliantly all those years, folks. And then they would come all the way up. Now let's see how they live in Austerlitz, and that's near Route 22, going north and south through New York State along the borders of Massachusetts and Connecticut. And so they went from Route 22, Route 203 into Chatham. And then from Chatham, I don't know how they took it, whether they went to North Chatham or did they come to Valatia. And then, where did they get onto the path, the bicycle path? They could have got on it at North Chatham, at Route 17, County Route 17, and Route 203, or they could have got on the bicycle path in Valatia, along the Valatia Kill and Kinderhook Lake. But they did it, pumping all the time with their knees and their feet. And we sang hymns, and we they still stay here in Austerlitz in the summertime in their trailer home, and then in the wintertime they go to their daughters in Las Vegas. Their daughter and son-in-law run a great big show, the Great Big Show in Las Vegas. That's so spectacular, all the great big fireworks. And they're still doing that, the daughter and the son-in-law. Then they go to their daughter in Naugatuck, Connecticut, where Peter Paul is made. Peter Paul coconut bar. And they still do that, but they're going to get an apartment in Las Vegas this year. And his daddy, 93 years old, is extremely independent down in Florida. He does everything, drives his car, does his own grocery shopping, does an amazing performance at 93. And being Lutheran too. Glendora said, is God everything there is? Absolutely. There isn't any other force beside God. No, there isn't any other force besides God. And Glendora says, and if there is, Glendora doesn't have to think about it. We're all free, independent thinkers. We do not have to think of any other force than the love that is God. That's it. The love that is God. That's all we have to think about. We're free and independent thinkers. I like to think of God as being continuous. We know the truth, that love is God and God is love. We know the truth, that we have a relationship with God, and that makes us very happy. And that we know the substance of God is love. How do we know that? Because we know what love is. We've known that since we were in our mother's arms. And that we know the wholeness of God. We know the oneness of God, that just like using this as a model, a cell cannot be separated from this body and live as a cell any longer. It just can't happen. So we know the wholeness of God, the onlyness of God, the oneness of God, the allness of God. And we know our oneness with each other, that we're all one with God. Since God is everything there is, then we all have to be some of God. There's nothing for us left for us to be. And we all know that we have a job to do for God, that we have a set of talents that nobody else has, and that set of talents is to be done for a job that nobody else can do on the earth, and we have to do that job, and that's our creativity. And it's our job to make the universe go and grow and glow. What? Make the universe go and grow and glow. And that's what our ancestors have been doing for 4 billion years. And what a great job it has done on this universe. And we rejoice at the creativity of all of us, God together, the operation of what we have created, and then going on and creating more. That's the 3 things that God is all about. And the goodness of God. God is all there is. God is good. All is good. If you don't see it that way, then we're thinking wrong. So be very, very careful of what you think about. And never lie, steal, and cheat, and go vegan. Be kind. Vegan means just be kind. Be kind. Be kind. And so it was a lovely, jubilant rendezvous. Pastor, Reverend James Slater, and Mrs. James Slater Christa. Her chest has been opened 3 times for heart attacks, but here she is bicycling up the path. And I met one of my neighbors that I have not seen all summer long. I had not seen all spring long. I have not seen all winter long. And the last time seen would be the summer before that. And I said to him, "Thanks for knocking on my door and seeing if there was anything you could do for me." "What do you mean?" Well, I mean, you never came to see me this whole year. Well, I'm busy, you know. Oh, sure, you're busy. And of course, self comes first, not your neighbor. False alarm. Glendora, you never should have said that. In a way, and that's true of every one of the 5 other neighbors. Not one of them has ever come to the door in all that period of time I just outlined. Well, what about you, Glendora? Why didn't you go to their door? Well, because of the disability. But Glendora, is that an adequate excuse? Couldn't you have gone to their door and said, I'm your neighbor downstairs, is there anything I can do for you? You're so disabled, what can you do for them? I can sing them a hymn. I can tell them a joke. I can read them a Bible passage. So I think you're as bad as your neighbors next door. And when I was full eyesight and full body ability, I used to go up and downstairs to all of these no good neighbors. They were no good people. They were really not good people. And I would give them money. I give away hundreds of dollars to them. I was always asking if I could do something for them. In fact, I sort of ran these 6 apartments. Made sure the litter was picked up, made sure the garbage can was neat and tidy, and made sure the dumpster was neat and tidy. Made sure that any repairs were made by the owners. Okay, Amy bought Glendora vegan cookies, and they are very, very tasty, and they're thick cookies. Don't you like thick cookies? And they're this big around. And they had covered with sugar, too. Coated with sugar, granulated sugar. Oh, thank you, Amy. Amy brought a speaker that she's had for a long time and tried hooking it up to the cell phone. A cell phone is no good for audio. A cell phone will not keep its audio. You can't hear it most of the time. Why, cell phones, are you made that way? And Amy and I worked, and also Phil and I the day before, yesterday, another hour on thinning.
The time is 8:00 a.m.
September 3rd, Sunday. We worked an hour on thinning out the new people list. New people come in every day. A new telephone number and a new person and a new job to do. And so you watch it for 2 or 3 days and see if it's somebody that you will have to check on in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or a month. And then you take out the ones you probably won't call in a year. So I hope we did it right. And yesterday, all this week, was Franklin's Triumph Day. He worked very hard for $2,700. And Patricia Nichols came and took the money to the bank in Kinderhook because she was going down Route 203 and getting onto the Taconic to go to Hastings on Hudson, which is near Yonkers and Ardsley and Greenberg, Westchester County, next to the Bronx. Another beautiful day. or you're 100% far from it. What's the Bible passage today? Be ye therefore blameless, without rebuke, harmless as a child of God. Be ye therefore blameless, harmless as a child of God, without rebuke. Ooh, wouldn't you love to be that today? Ooh, would you please help me do that today? I can't make it. I will not make it. Be ye therefore blameless and harmless as a child of God, without rebuke. Open our eyes that we may see glimpses of truth thou hast for me. Place in our hands that wonderful key that will unclasp and set us free. Silently now we wait for thee, ready our God, thy will to see. Open our eyes, illumine us, Spirit divine. We did not get by the season of summer, August, July, without a housefly. It came very late in the season, 3 days ago. Do not harm the housefly, staff. Do not harm the housefly. The housefly has very little time to live. A housefly is really a miracle of creation. And the housefly does good in the world. What is the word? Adore. To regard with fervent devotion. And what do we regard with fervent devotion? When all is said and done, the only thing that really mattered is what? How did we treat others? Well, Slater's, you get an A+. Thank you, Amy, for uploading Soul to Soul and uploading the vegan commercials to the YouTube. Thank you, friends, for encouraging us all to do what is right. Thank you, camcorder, for making a record of it.